Skinny Moose, and as you can see, I brought on the Southern Deathmatch legend, John Rare. And it is special to have John because if y'all know Skinny Moose, y'all know that John Rare is on my Mountain Rushmore of Southern Deathmatch legends. Hell, he's on my Deathmatch Mountain Rushmore in general. I mean, it's John Rare. What ain't John done? He has helped grow the Southern Deathmatch community. He's done backyard. I mean, he's even won a Carnage Cup. So,
yeah, trust me, no one ever thought I'd win that Carnage Cup either. So that was a good middle finger to everyone.
I'm a big fan of John. So if anybody really knows the Moose, then they know about John. But let's start off with my first question: Is what made you become a wrestler?
Say that one more time. It cut up right there.
What made you become a wrestler?
Growing up, my dad was a wrestling fan, so it was something that was on the TV every week, in which it was WWF back in those days. But I just grew up watching World Wrestling Federation, and eventually I got onto that late night ECW, and obviously that changed how I wanted to go forward watching wrestling.
All right. So, is that where you wanted to? Did you always want to be like a professional wrestler, or was you always more towards your backyard days?
Well, originally, like my occupation of choice is I was actually going to try to go to be a cop, and then I was actually going to go in the army. But when I met my wife, that kind of changed those kind of plans. And at that time, that was 2001, so I was already about 2 years into backyard wrestling at that time. So I just really continued wrestling, and at that time, also me and Randy the Effin' Deal, which was my partner in the Backyard Wrestling Foundation, we were actually going to fly down to Dory Funk's wrestling camp in Florida. But because I got with the wifey, that plan also went away.
Yeah, didn't you get your missus into wrestling, backyard wrestling?
Got my what?
Didn't you get your missus, your wife, into like backyard wrestling? Didn't you make her a backyard wrestler? Or that's
Yes,
what.
I did. And what's funny is like she ended up being more hardcore than some of the guys. Like every Monday, I release new stuff on my YouTube, and one of the matches where we actually got wrapped in barbed wire, like Sabu and Terry Funk did, just released this past Monday.
And she posted a young picture of her back when she like first started, and somebody split it with a pop can or whatever. And she's like, "Oh no, I'm fine. That was way back in the day." And I'm like, "Golly."
Yeah, what's funny is that was even after the camera went off. And, we always tell the story because it's funny, but instead of me being concerned or anything, I immediately wanted to grab the cameras.
So, who was your biggest rival aside of Spider Boodrow?
My biggest rival in the backyard, it's really hard to say because, like, I wrestled Shady that's my wife. I wrestled her from Illinois all the way down here. And, we even did training for pro wrestling together down here. But, like, when it comes to match wise, I probably had more matches with her than anybody else. But, like, if you're watching my channel right now on Mondays, you're experiencing who Randy Death and Dill is. And then now we're integrating Adam the Real Deal Davis, who is also another one who jumped from Illinois down here to do backyard wrestling.
I was about to say either Spider Boudreaux or Randy as your two biggest rivals. But if y'all want to go check him out, please go check him out. He's on YouTube under John Rare, and he has a second YouTube channel, which is
a backyard legacy YouTube.
Yes, go check it out. I'm subscribed to both. I'll watch his channel. Very, very interesting. He goes into depth. He goes into detail. He tells you everything you want to know. Can we ask why do you like fire and explosions considering it's always happening to you? I mean, like, every Carnage Cup, every time you're just like, I'll do this. And you just make it look so good.
Well, it's not out on my YouTube channel yet, but here in the next coming month or so, you'll actually see an Inferno match. But it's like I've been doing fire since back, my backyard days, even early on. Like my first little firebox that I created actually went up in my face and caught my hair on fire. So, I've been dealing with fire for a long time. And the fireworks, I really didn't get into doing fireworks into backyard until I think it was called a murder match, which that's my Juggalo brother, Wicked Clown's homemade match. But roll of firecrackers, and we started using them even in the backyard days.
Have you always wrestled with long hair?
Yes. Since I've been down, or since I've done professional wrestling, I've always had long hair, pretty much. Yeah.
Because me and Brian was talking, and he was like, well, I was like, have you ever known John to wrestle with short hair, even in his backyard days? And I was like, no, I've always seen him with long hair. And I'm like, me too, but I want to make sure.
Yeah. Eventually, you'll see like the buzz cut come along in the backyard days.
I have to see that. I can't wait. Who took the Angel of Death to his limits? Who gave you a run for your money?
Always Spider Boodrow. That boy, my brother. When we knew we were on the card, it never mattered if we were first or last. We always knew, even in an easy match, we were going to take each other, to our limit. And like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it was called it's called Unbreakable TLC, where Kevin Brandon and LXW gave us like a Chinese made table that even Spider jumping off of a damn ladder could not break.
I've always gotten into yours and Spider's matches. Y'all would take one of the most, normal matches and make it the best match on the whole card. I'm a big fan of Spider myself. I've always wished I could have met Spider. He seemed like a chilled, laid back guy, but not one that you wanted to piss off. So, what are your worst injuries or your major ones? I know a few, but
Well, like sitting here today, I've got like 3 deteriorated discs. So obviously that's came with overtime of wrestling. But, I broke my femur in half, fractured my hip. And then, here recently in my in the Saw match, early on I fell on my damn shoulder on the mat, which had on the ring, which had no padding at all. And I thought it was a stinger at first, just something simple. All the feeling in my arm and even in my ribs kind of went away, and like I couldn't raise this arm at all for I don't know how long. I was sitting on the outside, and I remember telling the ref, I was like, I can't raise my arm. So I'm sitting there freaking out because that's still within maybe 5-6 minutes into the match. And it ended up being released that I had a radial tear in my upper arm, which left my hand really over 50%, useless. And I just, within maybe the last 2 months, have even been able to raise it above. Like that simple motion, I couldn't do that. And even if you watch that final Saw match, when I go into the fireworks, if you look really closely, this hand is constantly drooped because I had no communication with this hand.
you instantly seeing like, if y'all watch it, it's on Extreme XPW and on Title Match. But if y'all watch it, like you can see he starts favoriting his arm, and I think he's out of the camera once he sits over there. And you see Brian and Little Sicko go at it, but for like at least 5-7 minutes, John's out of the match, and nobody could figure out where John Rare went. But he just told y'all he had to go out and take care of his shoulder, and that's when I think he tripped and he fell or something happened, and he went down and he tore up his shoulder right over here. So what Saw deathmatch do you think was the most extreme?
I've always thought. I mean, honestly, the first one was iconic because it's what it was. We went out, in the eyes of the deathmatch world, kind of two nobodies, and we established ourselves that day. But my favorite one to this day would still be the third one, or the fourth one because that's when I won Carnage Cup. But the fourth one, I was so wasted. Like literally, me and Spider drunk so much like Jim Beam and moonshine that night. Like I really don't remember too much of the fourth one at all. But those are my two favorites, and like my least favorite one is definitely Legacy. That was the main event at Angel of Death tournament.
My favorite one would have to be the one from Carnage Cup 11, the three matches, the three saw matches back to back. That's probably my favorite one.
That
Uh,
one was definitely hell.
and Carnage Cup 11, when Spider threw you out outside the ring and you got caught on the flaming razor wire, how bad did you get burned?
I didn't get burnt. I just had a cut. I just, one of the razor wires cut me, and that was it. But
I
that was also the Carnage Cup where I broke my ribs too. So that whole Carnage Cup was hell. I broke my ribs, and Spider re-injured his collarbone, which was previously injured. So we both had a rough take that day, which that ended up being Spider's last match as well.
Oh shit! How was it facing Brian White and Little Sicko at Carnage Cup 13?
It was good. It was a I want to say that match was like a transitional phase. Like you had me, the old man. You had Brian White, that kind of an older guy getting into the business, but he was still trying to make his name there. And then Little Sicko, the newcomer that shined bright the year before, but a lot of people don't know my connection with him and his family. I wrestled with his dad. His dad was in my group, the Ubermenschen. So that was a very good moment, and like I've got a picture floating around somewhere of Carnage Cup 8 when we were a kid. Me and him took a photo out there together.
Yep. And everybody looks at Little Sicko if they like wrestle like Brentwood, you, Spider. Everybody looks at Little Sicko as their nephew. And Little Sicko, he's
Yeah,
pretty chill. I love Little Sicko. We've interviewed Little Sicko. We've interviewed Sadisto. They're both chill as ever. Little Sicko's funny. I can't wait till I meet y'all at Cup. Hopefully you're at Carnage Cup 14. But if not, I understand why. Uh, have you ever had any hip surgeries or replacements? Or replacements?
my hip. I got a screw in my hip for whenever I fractured it, but no replacements.
So I know some of them because I used to have you on Facebook. But what is your hobbies out of the ring?
Honestly, now the only hobbies I really have is just doing outdoor stuff with the kiddos. And obviously, I still record, local wrestling for different organizations. And I still like to go to other organizations and scout talent when I have time, but I really don't have as much time as I used to anymore. But everything's still wrestling related or doing outdoor stuff with the kiddos.
I was about to say you love spending time with your family. Now you got out of wrestling and became a family man. But I understand that you spent like at least 20, 25 years in
Yeah.
wrestling given to us. So when you left wrestling, I was like, I can't be mad. I understand now. Now it's just time to be with his family. And
Yeah, because literally I did my first I did my first backyard match when I was 16, and I did my first backyard fight when I was 15. So I've been doing something wrestling related for I'm 40. I'll be 41 this year, so it's a long ass time.
well over 30, might as well surround it off at about 30 years almost.
Yeah.
And so in the Saw 3 death match, when you sliced your hand open horribly, did you need stitches or anything?
I actually didn't on Saw 3. whenever I slipped my hand in there, I think we wrapped it, and I think a nurse, because we out some of the glass out, and it was actually a few months down the line it started bothering me, and there was actually a whole nother chunk of glass in there that I removed myself. But yeah, I didn't need. Back in the day, I didn't get stitches for anything. We would just super glue it half the time.
Yeah, I think I got that question off your YouTube channel because that's when you said that you sliced your hand horribly, and I'm like, I gotta see if he needed stitches or anything. So, would you be open to tell us how you and Spider actually first met each other?
Our first time actually ever meeting was literally in the back for the Saw match. We've never met each other prior to that, and like everybody hyped me up to him, which was well deserved, as how tough he was, and how you had to hit him. If you didn't hit him, he was gonna stiff the shit out of you. He was a very intense athlete, so I was still light to him because to this day, and this is another fact that people need to get right. I did train more than one day. Whenever I tell people that I went and trained and I quit, it didn't mean that I never went back. I trained for one day and then I quit that place. But through my training going forward, I was trained to be extremely light. And in death matches, you are not light. So me coming into that match in my first like kind of big death match, especially my first Carnage Cup, still kind of wrestling him light, and he wasn't wrestling me light at all. So I kind of had to wing it and get stiffer and stiffer with him as I went.
So, I didn't write this question down, and I just find it funny that the incident from the first one when Spider's like, "Well, go ahead, do that, but just miss my tattoo." I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Because I heard it from Blako, and then I was like, wait, what? So I went and watched the documentary that you and Spider done, and he's like, yeah, I told him to do it. He said, just watch my tattoo. I'm like, what is going through your mind to tell a man to do this? What?
Funny is, everybody remembers my first, stab being Spider Boodrow. And in reality, I was actually, shanking and stabbing people when I was in the backyard as well. So, we haven't got to that part on my YouTube channel where I'm doing that. But, that was something that I actually started doing in the backyard and progressed it to, a different level when we did the Saw Death match.
I mean, stabbing and stuff, coming from the backyard, that's typical because y'all don't really have no rules in the backyard, do y'all?
Yeah.
So it's more or
And I
less
mean,
do whatever you want, but just don't kill me. So, I kind of
yeah, and
understand.
like, his thing was definitely, yeah, he would have been mad if I'd have messed up his tattoo for sure.
So I wrote this question down, and I find it pretty funny because it's another question from your channel, and it actually comes from all your matches with Spider. Has Spider ever actually removed a tattoo off of you, considering he always went for him? Like Spider would
Yeah,
always for the tattoo.
yeah. Spider would love to put scratches all over my tattoo, but none of them has actually ever been messed up. Uh, I can't. I don't. I don't know if you can pick that up or not. Let's see if I can. Try to see if I can see this one right here. Let's see. Right
Yeah,
there.
you
That gap right there. Spider did that to me. And what's funny, match, Blaine Evans hit me with some tubes and reopened the exact same uh, scar in the same exact spot.
that's crazy. So, what is the biggest spot that you've ever taken?
Oh, I would say the highest spot would probably be. I'm trying to think, what's the highest I've ever fallen?
I would say
Uh,
Carnage Cup one where you and Spider's up on like the rafter things with the saw, and y'all both come down.
Yeah, I saw one. We came off the Coke machine onto the sewing needle table. Saw two. Kevin brought out that damn like 18-foot ladder, and he did the spider driver off of it. The third one, we fell off backwards off the little roof onto some tables. And what's funny about that is when we both fell off, spider landed on my arm, and we're both trying to move around, and I was like, I can't move because you're on my arm. And he's like, quit bitching.
What do you expect me to do?
Yeah. I'm like, we're supposed to be trying to move, and I can't move because you're on me, spider.
How
but
many?
but I remember that might be it. That might be one of the tallest things I ever did.
I gotta
I've
like
never been too keen on height.
gotta see the little building incident spot. And the third one, not too sure which Carnage Cup it was, but when Spider basically you and Spider both come off, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, both of us both said the same thing. That was more of an uncomfortable spot because we're both kind of used to falling forward. So falling backwards off of something is a little bit damn different.
I mean, or you can go to your backyard days when you was on that barn house looking thing and you come off. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was on Randy when you jumped off. I might be wrong.
Yeah. Now back in my backyard days, yeah, I used to jump off that damn barn all the damn time. And I think I was one of the first ones to ever do a front flip off the damn barn too, which was scary.
So, who is the original Thumbtack Jack? Is it you or is it the one from Germany?
I actually had the name Thumbtack Jack first. My Thumbtack Jack was like established or named in like 99 or 2000. And if you actually look up the Germany Thumbtack Jack, he debuted in 2001. But from what he told me, because I talked to him about it, but from what he told me is he stole the name from somebody else in Germany. But when you look their name up, when you look the name up, nothing else comes up. So it was obviously someone probably not as popular. But yeah, I had the name first, but he was a little bit more worldwide known by the name.
Yeah, I got with some people because I really wanted to know. I didn't want to write the question down and like shoot from the hip, but I was like, I think John was the first, Thumbtack Jack, but I'm gonna make sure.
Yep,
So,
I had him beat by about a year.
how many bones and body parts have you broken and destroyed and mangled over the years for our personal entertainment?
I've broken one bone, but I couldn't tell you how many barbed wire damn contraptions I've had. This is my man cave here, but I've actually got my old barbed wire time, and it's still got the label on it. Last Ones Alive, which was the band that played at Carnage Cup 11 for me and Spider's entrance.
So,
So that's an old piece of.
so speaking about that, the sickle you got behind you, is that the sickle that come from Carnage Cup 13, the one that you used?
Yep, it is.
That's
That's
pretty.
Carnage Cup 13. That I held throughout many places, and then I've actually got my original Freddy glove that I wore out at Carnage Cup 10
Oh
because I
yeah,
had my Freddy thing.
that's when you faced Coke 45, wasn't it? The first match.
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. Yes. So, what is the most coolest or amazing weapon you've ever seen? Because I know you've seen a lot of them.
I actually the weapon. Well, I'd say the weapon, anything to do with fire. Like I love hitting. Like me and Brian's wife's match, a ring of fire. Like everything was on fire, and anything that I could pick up and it was on fire, and I enjoyed it. And at one point, it just went through my damn mind. I was like, I'm going to pick up this damn flaming ball of shit and just throw it at him. And when I did, it didn't even burn me. And I was like, well, that was pretty fucking cool.
That's been talked about so much on this channel. Me and Brian talk about it off camera. We always talk about when you burnt Brian's balls in the violent chick. I know it's not funny, but that's probably one of my favorite spots you've ever done. Brian's like, no, no, John, what are you doing? And that just comes down on me. I,
No,
I know, I know that had to hurt. And I know neither one of y'all may think it's funny, but from a fan's point of view, I died laughing.
that was I mean I messed with Brian a lot, but that honestly I still say that's probably one of my top 5 matches I've ever done. Like I really enjoyed that match.
Uh, what does it take, from your point of view, personally, to make a solid death match?
You know, going above and beyond what the normal high risk uh, death match is. Because, like, if we go out there and do like a standard death match, which kind of like Saw Legacy, that one to me, it didn't have that. Besides the grinder part that I took to my hand, besides the grinder part, nothing really stuck out in that match. So, you know, to me, you got to do something that sticks out above and beyond what people should be expecting.
Yeah, I mean, like, and the solo matches, you never know what you're going to get, I think. Like, we've had, a little kid, Carnage Cup 11, try to give you a weapon. I think it was like a weed eater or
Yeah.
like thing. We've had one of my questions is coming from Carnage Cup 11. When Spider dropped actual real spiders on you, that was intense. We've had soul saws used. I mean, we've had circular saws used. You never know what you're going to get out of a saw death match, especially when John Rare's in it.
Yeah, and the
Oh,
thing is, you know, I would never use anything on myself that, or I've never used anything on anybody that I've never really tested on myself. And, you know, that's always been true because if you go back to an old, what was that, Birmingham hardcore wrestling, I would actually use a, box cutter on myself during the promo for that organization for real. And you know, the sawzall that I hit Spider with, I used it on myself when we were going over the match just to, you know, show how it was going to be and everything. So anything that I've really ever used on somebody, I've used on myself first to, you know, get the gist of it.
that's that's about like most people. Like when some bosses, work with their guys, they're like, "I'm not going to do nothing that I don't want. I wouldn't do myself," and then they'll get out there and do it with you. So I respect that.
Yeah.
What was your What was your thoughts when Spider dropped real spiders on you? Because you seem to be scared of them.
Yeah, I wasn't. You know, I'm not a huge fan of spiders at all. But you know, what we originally was going to do was much worse. So, uh, you know, the spiders ended up being nothing. I honestly thought one bit me, but it may not have because I really didn't have marks. I felt a bite, but it didn't have a mark on me, so it may have just been bullshit. I don't know. But originally planned, we were actually trying to get baby alligators for that match.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So I remember that match. I watched it when I was younger, and then I went and watched it like last summer. Around like August or beginning of September, and I'm sitting there, and I remember it's clear as day because I was outside, chilling. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and I forgot all about that damn spot. I'm sitting there, and Spider. I got arachnophobia. I'll tell you, I got arachnophobia. That's the only thing that'll scare me. I'm not scared of no person. I'm not scared of anything besides Spider. And I seen that, and I screamed. And I mean, it's late at night. People's coming out of their houses because this is a quiet neighborhood. And everybody around, and I'm like, fucking spiders. One of the best to do it. Love John Rare's work. Big fan. Never seen anyone bump razor wire like him. Groovy. Hey, when John goes through some barbed wire or razor wire, he sells it. I would love
Yeah,
to buy
that's it.
barbed wire or razor wire that John Rare has been.
Yeah, and see that I've always said about the razor wire. You know, a lot of people over the years have gimmicked the razor wire, and they fake it. But I have never once faked the damn razor wire because literally on Carnage Cup 10, when I went face first into the razor wire from the outside, I slit my damn the tip of my finger. That piece of meat was actually hanging, and that's why you see me go up the damn ramp and get doctored.
I ask a lot of workers, and some of them like, "Well, I've never been in razor wire," and then some of them like, "I definitely got to say razor wire is worse than barbed wire." Which one would you say is worse?
Razor wire is worse because I mean, barbed wire, you're just going to get a good poke, and the worst thing you're going to get from it is it's just going to get lodged in different than how you're trying to pull it out. Makes it worse. But razor wire is going to cut you deep. Just like this past Carnage Cup, when I got hurt with the shoulder, at the same time when I was flipped outside, I don't know if you've seen the photo of it, but it got my pinky and
No.
it sliced all the way to the photo to you later. But it way to the through the tendon and everything. And they actually said that I was never going to use the pinky again or move it. And I can move it and everything. So I was lucky on that.
I've never seen that picture, but yes, please send it to me. Uh, will you talk about the finger spot in Carnage Cup 12? I've had a lot of people, including a couple of workers, want to hear about the finger incident in 12.
That's one of those things that we have what is that? We can't disclose that because of how perfectly it was done. I mean, people pay attention, they know the truth. But that's one of those things that was like it did went worldwide within 24 hours, and you've seen so many people talking about on it. Like first, they hated it because it was real. Then when they didn't know if it was real or not, they hated it was because it was fake. But then all of a sudden it was real again, and they hated it again. So Blaine, and Kevin all have always agreed that we will never really discuss that until we actually decide to. So that's always going to be one of those very well kept secrets of what actually really happened.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I was mind blown when I first seen it. Yeah, I definitely understand. I would talk more about that off camera between me and you, but yeah, I just wanted to, say if I could bring it up because a lot of people and workers wanted to know the question on that.
Now, see, one of the cool things about that though, like this was off camera, obviously, but the thing about me is that I lost right when it happened, so I stood up and I immediately go to the back in the SUV, and I'm supposed to peel out, get the hell out of there before any wrestlers can get to me, before anybody can get to me. But what they didn't account for was the nurse jumping in the SUV with us, and we're having to tell her, get out, get out, get out, we gotta go. And she's more worried. That's whenever I had that really bad cut too. So I'm gushing. I was bloody everywhere. And the hell, that was also where I was caught on fire too, because we had fire like crazy in that match. So we're having to plead to her to get out of the damn truck. At the same time, that some of the workers that are really close to me had a very heated and volatile discussion with Blaine because they thought it was overboard and real. So that's another one of those like backstage stories that you ain't heard of because it really did happen.
I kind of figured Blaine got some hate because some fans are still hating on Blaine, and some people have some bad things to say about you and Blaine for that. And I'm like, it's wrestling. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, like, literally, we lost fucking, excuse my French, sorry. We lost Owen Hart to an incident. And some people say that was set up for him to, pass away on Dark Side of the Ring, if you ever seen it. I'm like, you never know what you're going to get. This is the most realist sport. Like, to me, wrestling's more real than baseball, football, these some people's like, well, it's fake. I'm like, why don't you get in there? Why don't you get hit with a light tube? I took a light tube. You know, why don't you take a steer? Why don't you do what they do? And then you come and tell me if it's fake. So, will you speak about when Brian White caught you on fire at Violent Shit Cut and you start laughing about it?
Yeah, that was just me having fun. Like I really did just like start laughing. I think I scared him. Like he's sitting there putting me out because I'm on fire. And anytime I've ever been caught on fire, I always scoot away from the people with water. And damn good. And that was actually one of the yeah, I laughed my ass off while he was putting me out. And I think that freaked him out more than anything. But originally one of the pre-planned spots for me at this past Carnage Cup that did not happen was I was going to get caught on fire really fucking good, but it didn't it didn't happen because everything was really fucked up at that point.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Brian was telling me, he was like, I think he was on an interview actually. He was like, when I caught John Ritter on fire, I went to go put him out, and his fucking crazy ass is over there laughing at me. He's like, I actually got kind of, I didn't know what to do. I was kind of nervous. So I'm like, wait, what? And then I went and rewatched it, and you can hear you over there like, hee. I'm like, John, what the fuck is going through your mind, dude?
Yeah. I can say John Rare is definitely a different person when he's in the ring than when he's outside of that ring.
So, when we interviewed Jay Blade, because I interviewed him with my partner, we talked about the casket match. He said they were more of your thing. Who was your favorite casket match against?
My favorite casket match was actually against Jay Blade. Jay Blade is an unbelievable talent. Him and Blaine Evans, you can put them in a death match and they're going to steal the show, but you can put them in a standard match or any other match that you want to, and they will also steal the show. Both of them guys right there, I don't know if you remember I think it was the television title. The guys were all excited for having like a workhorse title, but it went on the shoulder of a woman that after she won it, she never came back and never brought the title back. So that title was really should have been meant for the boys right there, and for people that want to elevate a title and make a title something better, and that those two are always in my opinion, someone that you want to put a title on to elevate a title.
Both of them men will work. And I got to give
Yeah.
it to both of them. Them men will go and do their up and beyond, especially like, I love it when them two are in a match together. Like, I've seen them at Carnage Cup 12 in the finals, and they work.
Yeah. When I was getting close to being done, like when I was retiring, and I know I should have stayed retired at Angel of Death, but when I was around that time and I started, I was like, I'm too damn old and slow to get in the ring with Blaine and Jay. They'd work the shit out of me and I'd be dead in the first few minutes.
So, going off of that question, what makes the casket matches like your thing?
I used to do like my character, the Angel of Death. Back in the day, I used to do some promos inside the casket. So we eventually was just like, hey, let's do it. Let that be my casket match. Would be my match at Birmingham Hardcore, which all Birmingham Hardcore shows are on my YouTube channel. And it eventually just became my match.
That's pretty fucking. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, considering you faced him multiple times, what is your favorite match with Brian Woods?
We've had a lot of damn matches, but I would say that our best match would still maybe if it comes to a multi-man match, it would probably be the 3-on-3 match. It was me, Freak Show, and Acid versus Spider Boodrow, Bryant Woods, and Hardcore Terry Houston in a death match. We were in Tennessee. That match was just killer the whole match.
Was that the match that Woods flipped out on Acid in?
Yes.
That match, oh my, what? Okay, since you was there, what did Acid do to Woods to make him go off so bad?
Well, see, Acid in the first place already had some, backstage heat a little bit because his entrance song was the same as Freak Show's, except for like a little alarm going off. And you don't do that. Freak Show was a vet of the group and of wrestling, so obviously get your own song.
Yeah,
So, but then in that certain match, he went to do a chair shot to him, and Acid put up his hands, and he just refused to take a shot the way he was supposed to. And I think Bryant told him, he was like, "I'm going to give it to you one more time, and you're going to take it right." And he still didn't take it right, so Bryant just laid in the wood after that.
and this is how people get hurt. Like, you gotta trust your opponent.
Yeah,
It's what.
like I can't tell you how many unprotected chair shots I've taken from Bryant and
Spider.
Spider. Hell, and Joe.
I mean, show like you. I don't really. I mean, a couple of times, but you're not really one to cover your body when it comes to a protective chair shot. I don't really think you
No,
throw up.
I've really never done it too much. Like, not I don't know if I've ever done it in the pro in general, for real.
I think only like one time, and that was because you had like blood or something in your eyes, and you went like that. And you wasn't even trying to protect your face. You was trying to wipe the blood away, and by the time you went like that, they done smacked you in the chair. And if I'm not mistaken, that was uh, Spider Boodrow in one of the Saw death matches, I think. But I've never really seen you full on do like they do in wrestling to actually cover yourself.
Yeah, because I mean, you can break a hand, break a finger, break a wrist. Putting it up, trying to block a chair shot from these people.
What was it like being at Southern Outlaws?
You know what? Southern Outlaws. A lot of people still don't know what really happened there, and I'm really on that subject. I've got a new interview coming to my channel called 21 Questions, and this is actually one of the things that we're talking about. But 21 Questions was supposed to have been a little interview that I did on my channel at the end of last year. But when I got hurt, I kind of just quit doing anything because I was in a bad depression at that time. But it's going to be on my channel soon. But Southern Outlaws, I was there just as a fan, and just watching everybody have the fun they were doing. I wanted to damn do something, even though I should not have been in the ring because obviously I'm still dealing with my injury that I'm dealing with. But I got in there with Brian, someone that I really trusted, and I went into that mode again, Angel of Death mode. My bad,
Yeah,
Brian.
and Brian's like, "What's going on? All this. Why, Brian? Why?" And then you cut the promo, and a foreign language. I'm not for sure what language it was, and we're all scratching our heads. And then you come out with, then you put it in, your own words. You know why I attacked you, Brian? I attacked you because this ain't the Brian White that I met. I'm like, I mean, he's wanting to see the real Brian that he had at one time. I'm trying. I was like, you need to go to at least the finals of the Carnage Cup, Brian. And he's like, no, I don't want to. I don't think I can. I'm like, yeah, go talk to John Rear. He'll put you to getting you over until the finals.
And I really did enjoy it. Like, I honestly did not realize how bloody of a mess I made him and myself that day. But like, I don't know if you've seen the video of my head squirting after the match, but like it was literally just squirting like a deranged, or was it deranged or brain damage? Brain damage.
Brain damage.
It was just squirting.
If I'm not mistaken, I hopped on Facebook and I think Andy Lawler's the one that actually posted it. And I'm
Yes.
sitting there watching Southern Outlaws during like the little cut commercial, whatever, when they put the ring together and it goes on commercial and you're just like squirting over. That's pretty cool, but that's pretty weird too. So I have to ask, and if you laugh, I'm gonna laugh with you. Do you enjoy scaring Brian?
Yes, I do. Like any chance I get to, I do it. Because that wasn't even the plan at Southern Outlaws. They just so happened to be right that someone put them on the outside of the ring, so I just immediately grabbed it and did it. Didn't even talk to him about it.
He goes, he calls me on his way home. He's like, "Hey, bro, I'm on my way home. From Bambi. I'm headed home. Do you mind to talk to me on my way home?" I'm like, "Sure." He touches his head. He's like, "Oh fuck, John." He pulls out a piece of skewer like this. He goes, "Oh, I think this is the longest skewer that John's ever stuck in my head." I'm doing my best not to laugh at him. He's hurting. Finally, I just break. I start laughing. I'm like, "Did John teach you a lesson?" I had to laugh.
Well, what's funny is like anyone that watches Southern Outlaws, they kind of really don't know the backstory on what happened. But like, I was no selling most of his stuff, but I will never sell the first light tube, and sometimes the second light tube that anybody gives me, because when you think about it, a light tube, it's going to hit you, it's going to cut you. But like, if you sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to fall down from it, that really don't, it's not going to happen. Like I could
That's
hit you with a damn light tube in the head, you're not going to fall down. So why am I going to fall down from it? And right when I was about to start selling some of his stuff is whenever he was like, "No, fuck this, I'm done." And so I'm sitting in the ring and I'm like, "Well, damn, dude, I was about to start selling for you."
Yeah, like I took a light tube. They're not bad. They're not going to like. I mean, like maybe if you're just getting up from like a bad spot, and then you're like staggering, and they hit you with a light tube or multiple light tubes, you're going to fall. But it's not like one or two or three is going to really put you on your, knock you on your butt or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that. And I'm not really too keen on. No offense to the Japanese boys, but they will take light tubes and cut themselves, and you got the workers who eat light tubes, and I'm like, you're you're taking away from the business here. Like
Yeah, I mean,
what's
there
the
always is. You gotta, and the spider is the main one to tell me this. You've got to put a story in it and make it believable. I can't sit there and swing a chair at myself at the same speed that Spider does and not sell my chair shot to myself, and then give this chair to Spider, and then he hit me the same thing and act like I'm dead. You got to make believable, and that's one thing that me and Brian definitely did in our last little get together. I don't. I still say that wasn't an official match. The referee shouldn't even have been out there. But everyone honestly thought that I was killing him for real, and that became the most talked about thing from the show for the few weeks after. Everyone was still talking about the why John why.
I mean, I actually got a DM on TikTok. If you're stating they're killing the business with the light tubes, why did you take one? I'm like, well, I took one to prove to people that light tubes ain't fake. One, two, I support the workers, so I want to show y'all the support that y'all give me. Three, I want to show people that what these men and women go through is not just some hawks, clout BS. This is real stuff. And if you watch the video all the way through, I even show you my back with the light tubes. And when I went to go get the shower, because after that I cleaned up, my wife pulled out a piece like that off camera, and I'm like, this is no joke. This is what these men go through. And Brian's like, now imagine taking a whole box or a whole bundle. I'm like, exactly. This shit is not fake. They don't do this shit for attention. They do this for our entertainment. They're doing stuff that they don't have to do for us.
Yeah, I've literally, I've been in a match with, I know, had like probably 100 damn tubes in it. When you do something like that, you're going to come out with, hundreds of damn cuts, no matter what you do.
I think off of one scar, if it didn't go away because I don't have a bathroom mirror, it broke. Piece of this place is trash, but before my mirror broke, I had a mark on my back, and I'm not sure if I still got it. It was like kind of like a scar on my back from a light tube, but it wasn't deep enough to actually be a scar, so I don't know.
Talking about that, I don't know why this just popped in my head. Was supposed to be something I said at the beginning of the show. I told you I had an announcement specifically for this show. This interview right here that you're watching on the Deathmatch Avengers is my last free interview that I will ever do. If anyone ever wants to do an interview with me again after this one, you don't have to pay. I'm sorry.
I'm lucky enough to get John Rare. I have been wanting John way before I even started Deathmatch Avengers. I messaged him before Carnage Cup 13, and I've been wanting John Rare so bad. You know, I grew up on John Rare. When we say Southern Deathmatch Legends, I always add John Rare, Spider Boodrow, Tank, and I have to add Terry Houston. But John is just one of those guys that I've always clicked with. He's never gave me a bad match. He's always entertained me. And yeah, I'm kind of upset that he retired, but like I said, you know, he's done gave us all he can. And now it's time for him to give to his family. I understand that. Um, so I think you done answered this between your wife and Randy, but who was your biggest rival from your backyard days?
Well, yeah, when it first started off, it was Randy because, obviously it's a little different. There's only two of you there. And, me and Randy wrestled each other. I think on my page, we're coming up on our 35th match, like our first one, 35th one-on-one or something like that. But we wrestled a lot. But, because it was just me and him, once the other crew started getting in, and I consider, every little thing a season. And like right now, in the Randy the F and Dill season where he's got the biggest title. But me and him wrestled, and without him, I wouldn't be a wrestler today. But I can say the same with my wife as well. Without her keeping my interest in wrestling and wrestling with me literally in empty fields with a setup camera in apartments, and the whole apartment backyard wrestling that we did, it's online, but it's private. So like when you look at all the stuff that I've done, there is still so much shit that I did that is not, public knowledge yet.
So there was one match. You wasn't in it, but you had posted it on your channel, and that was you in the basement. Or not you in the basement, but there was a few workers wrestling in the basement on your channel.
Yeah, we did basement fighting too. We call it, I can't remember what we called that, brawl in the basement or something. But we had some pretty rough shit down there. I know Sloppy J, he broke his nose down there. We had some wild. We would fight literally if we had a camcorder. We would fight.
So if you're open to talk about it, your big announcement about you charging people for an interview. Have you thought of a price for if anybody would like to interview you? Do you have a price that you would like to drop?
I haven't even thought about that yet, honestly. Now I'm more into it. Now that I'm more busy, I would say, I'm definitely more in it for the money. But, like I told you a long time ago, I owed you this interview. And, I haven't done an interview for nobody in a very long time. I've been turning down everybody. Yeah, I know Spooky Dust wanted an interview. I turned it down. I can't think of that other one. It was one out of France. I thought France or Germany. Someone wanted to do an interview. I turned them down, and it's honestly all to do with timing too now because I stay so damn busy. But when someone reaches out to me, if I even answer, because I'm not on social media anymore either, because I've seen some people talking about that in my comments the other day.
Yeah, one of my biggest things is, like, I had one of my buddies come to me and be like, you got an interview with John Rear. How did I get one? I'm like, one, he's done owed me this interview. He's promised it to me. Two, you might get John, but if you shoot from the hip, he will end it instantly. Do every single piece of research that you can. Hit him with solid questions and don't just shoot around the bush. He wants something that makes him feel good for himself. Like me, I spent countless hours. I bet you I spent over 100 hours just looking and doing research. Coming from your channel, coming from your Deep South days, your Bambi days. I put a lot of research into this because I really wanted to interview you personally.
Yeah, and like one thing I hate is when I do get on interview channels and they'll ask a stupid question that they didn't even do any research for. That's always like, if you don't do the research for it, I'm not even going to talk to you. Because like back in the day, someone was like, me and Spider were backyard boys together, and I'm just like, where the fuck did you get this information from? It's stuff like that. That'll turn me off immediately from even talking to people.
I don't. I don't think Spider wasn't backyard, was he?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm not sure if he ever did or not, but one of the rumors was that we were both in a backyard fed together, and that's how we called up to Carnage Cup 7. And obviously, Spider was around a long time before Carnage Cup 7.
Yeah, like I remember you talking on the documentary that you two met in the bat. That was like your first time. But I thought like the reason why I asked the question was because I thought like y'all actually met like outside of the business and like not wrestling, but the first time y'all ever met to set something up was backstage. So that's why I was like, correct me if I'm wrong here,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I was like all into it.
Yeah, Carnage Cup 7 to me was, Carnage Cup 7 was my first huge show. It wasn't my first IWA show, but it was my first huge show. And when I walked into that arena, I remember still feeling young back then when I was like, damn, I finally made it. And, to me now, Carnage Cup 7 is still just a small, insignificant show that, in 100 years, nobody's going to remember. In 100 years, nobody's going to remember John Rare. So, you got to take what you got and love it for when you got it.
Live for the moment, yes sir. Was that your first Carnage Cup?
Yes, it
That's what I.
wasn't supposed to have been my first Carnage Cup. Like originally, me and Talon, the other founding member, was told through a third party. I rented the ring for Carnage Cup 5, which is where I met Thumbtack Jack at, along with Danny Havoc, Nick Cage. I hung in the back with them. But me and Talon were supposed to have had a match there, or we were promised a match by a third party person. When it came time to the show, Kevin didn't have room for it. So, and obviously he didn't know who we were at the time. So, he actually paid me and Talon more just to sit on the sideline and not wrestle. So then Carnage Cup 6 rolled around, and I was actually booked for Wrestle Birmingham against, I think it was Lance Armstrong or Brad Armstrong. It was one of the Armstrong brothers. And me, I was like, nah, I'm not. I'm going to stay committed to this match with the Armstrongs because that's a big name in the business. And the Armstrong ended up not even showing up to that show. And I wrestled Nightmare Ted Allen, who I ended up, I bought the ring from Carnage Cup 5. So then eventually, if you know him, Big James Mayhem, finally, got talking and everything, and we got into works with Kevin, and I finally got on my first Carnage Cup.
Now was it Carnage Cup 9 that you was on crutches and you still wrestled Spider?
That was Carnage Cup 8.
That was Carnage Cup 8. Because I know
Yeah,
like
that's
you said it on your channel and you said it on a few documentaries. You was like already messed up. But you wanted to do it. You wanted to get in it, and you said that match was pure hell. You already messed up your leg. I think your femur was broke or something down in your leg. I'm not really too big on your bodies. I felt hell, so I know like something down there was messed up, but you persisted to do it.
that was whenever I was just coming off of my broken leg and my fractured hip. And like when I took the booking, I was still on crutches. And I don't even remember how long it was in between the time I broke it and I did the match with Spider. And what it was, I had to do two matches. I did the match with Madman Pondo first, and then Spider in the second round. And at that point, I was still very uncomfortable on even taking a damn bump in the ring.
That match with Spider Boodrow or Madman Pondo, that match with Pondo is actually on title match. And it's a Deep South show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I know you sold masks at the Angel of Death tournament, and you said that I want to say you might sell masks again, but you was probably never going to. Do you plan on selling masks again?
Probably not. I've actually got one. Now that you mention that, I've actually got one hanging up that I was supposed to have shipped out. But I haven't been I haven't been on damn social media, so I ain't even got that address for that guy. But I've got one right now. It was actually one that I've had since I was in my backyard. Because that's actually where I got the mask from. In the backyard, we had a guy called Jason Jr. and I always made his masks. But when I went pro, I actually on Carnage Cup 7, I wore it out during my match with Neil Diamond Cutter, and then that's whenever I started wearing the mask every show.
So this is a question that I had to ask. It was right after Carnage Cup 12, your little retirement promo video. You've always wanted to wrestle in a cage. So since you always wanted to wrestle in a cage, and you finally got the chance to, how was it? Because I know you done it in the backyard days in like a circular cage, but
Yeah.
then you faced Blaine Evans, and I don't want to get the promotion wrong, but I know that it was like SCW or something like that down there in Alabama, and you wrestled in the cage versus Blaine.
Yeah, it was Venom. Or you know what? If it wasn't Venom Championship, it was Central Championship, which it's the same promoter. So it was a damn good match. I wish I could have done it when I was a little bit younger, where I could have did better bumps. Because towards the end, with my back problems that I've been having, I've been doing less back bumps. But I was supposed to have won that match, but I said that I misunderstood, so I let Blaine win. I've never beat Blaine, and I always like to put Blaine over. So I just said that I didn't realize I was supposed to win, so I let him win. But it was a damn good match. I love wrestling Blaine.
What is the craziest thing you've ever done in your wrestling career?
I would say the craziest. Probably the Saul matches would for sure be the craziest. But one of the matches that I think never really gets talked about a lot was the ladder match. Whenever we conjoined the IWA Deep South Championship with the LXW Championship, and that was with me, Spider Boudreau, Bryant Woods, John Wayne Murdoch, Chris. No, it's Josh Crow. I think it was Josh Crow, Frightmare, like the talent that was in the ring that night, along with myself. And, I was the one able to win 2 championships that night. That was a hell of a match. Loved it. And Freak Show. Freak Show was in it too.
I don't think I've seen that match. I think that's one I haven't seen from you.
It's on my channel somewhere.
I'm gonna have to go look for it too. So, how was it facing Neil Diamond Cutter?
I enjoy it. He had complaints afterwards, and obviously he's let his anger stay with him for a really long time because obviously he don't like me. He said some shit about me, but I just wish better things for him.
I'm gonna be professional. I'm gonna be good here. Has he always? Oh, don't ask that one. Who would you? Who would you say gave you more of a challenge at Carnage Cup 13, Brian White or Little Sicko?
I I think that I did more with Brian in the match than I did Sicko, honestly. I know me and Sicko only did a few things that I remember. Now, see, this is a true fact, is I have never watched the match. Like I was so ill and disappointed in myself and my performance that I've never watched the match. So my knowledge of that match is pretty vast of nothing.
Um, honestly, I saw it was a good match. I mean, you might not be able to bring yourself to it. I've seen it multiple times. Your entrance was probably one of the best entrances I've seen from you personally. I love the sickle. I love the slow walk and the angel of death by Hank Williams Sr. I love the spots that you took. I like the ironing board thing out by the ring when you got blowed up.
Yeah.
How you tried to slide Brian into the fireworks and he reversed it and slid you. Really good. If somebody was going to come to me and ask for a starter match on genre, I would have to say Carnage Cup 13 and
Yeah.
skip that one part. But like it was so, you know, something that you wouldn't expect from you. I mean, because like you was on a triple threat, so like you was working these guys. You was just rolling them, and then like you got in the ring, and camera went off you, and then Brian and Little Sicko was fighting, and then went back to you, and you're just telling Brian, come on, fight me. And I'm like, damn, John. And my thing was, I knew Little Sicko. I've heard of Brian at that time, but my whole thing was I was wanting John Rare to take the whole fucking thing. I was wanting you to be the second Carnage Cup winner. Like my predictions was you take going for the second, being the second one because nobody's won Carnage Cup 2 times. So I was like,
Yeah.
I got to give it to John Rare. So since you've been in the business so long, what is the craziest match you've ever seen?
I would say like when it comes to wrestling wise, I can't think of the guy's name besides damn, I might not be able to think the other guy's name right now. I'll tell you, when it comes to a technical match, I remember these two guys that I was recording for, and I can't even remember the name of the organization. It's on my channel, but like when I was watching it, it was like WWE style caliber technical. Like they just went out and put on a technical masterpiece, and I'm the one filming it, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like y'all just put on a damn like Mac Classic here. But when it comes to like a deathmatch hardcore style, I remember well, obviously Carnage Cup 11. Well, no, that was Carnage Cup 12. Watching Little Sicko and I think it was Chick Ripley.
Uh, J-
Whenever
Jimmy Richards.
but no, it wasn't Richards. It was the guy that threw him off the U-Haul.
Chet Ripley.
Ripley, yeah, him. When I was watching that one, and my first time obviously seeing Little Sicko at a Carnage Cup, but he was doing crazy shit immediately, and I was just like, holy shit.
Little Sicko, that boy will. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it or if you even heard about it. He was at XPW the other day. Look at what you made me do back in June, and I wanted him to like clear the balcony, like run and jump off the balcony of the Hart Ballroom. And come to find out, since I've never been there, the balcony's not big enough. So what he done was he climbed over the rail and like stood on this like little ledge, and he just does the twisted carousel down onto the table. And I think it was on the hillbilly, and that was pretty intense. That was pretty cool. Like he goes down doing his lap, and I'm like, that's pretty cool considering like nobody's really executed that balcony spot perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I have like honestly, I haven't been on social media in over a month. And when I'm on YouTube, I barely venture away onto other pages. So I'm pretty dead to the wrestling world when it comes to knowledge now.
What is your thoughts on the new up and coming wrestlers?
There's a lot of good ones, and see that's a pleasure that people have now, especially in the deathmatch world that wasn't there whenever I was coming up. Is it's like deathmatch wrestling's everywhere now. Back in the day, you had your few little spots. Like CZW, Mid South. You had the East Coast, and then you had the Deep South. And obviously you had XPW. But now you can almost go to every damn state and they have an established deathmatch company there now.
Sure.
And as long as it's legal in the state. And so deathmatch workers now, they have so much more to work with than what we did. Because for the longest time, I always would plead, the Southern deathmatch didn't have a stable place to work for the longest time. Because Deep South would only run a few times a year, and for someone that really wants to be in the business, they get anxious and they want to go elsewhere.
So, have you ever passed a torch to anybody considering now that you're retired and all that?
I said I tried my best to pass it to Brian, and I think what I did with him on the Southern Outlaws still ensured that I gave it to him, but I was still making sure that he had it and that he had to earn it.
I respect that answer. I respect that answer completely. Yes, sir. Um, so where do you, which do you prefer being, a backyard wrestler or a pro wrestler, and why?
I honestly, I've had this conversation a few times, but I've always said that I will always pick my backyard career over my professional career because my backyard career, for one, never got seriously hurt. Like I got injured, but I never got seriously hurt. But all the friends that I made in my backyard were friends that were true friends. And, one of the sucky things about professional wrestling is, everyone's always vying for their spot, and some friends turn to foes and they go behind your back, that kind of shit. I never had any of that kind of dishonesty and stuff like that in the backyard.
I mean, like, I think you actually talked about that on your channel. And that's one of my things. Like, I don't know the answer, but I like to write the answer down anyways to take it to my channel so the fans and stuff. But um, real quick, or you can wait to the end of the video if you want to plug your socials or you want to say anything. You're more than welcome to. It's all open. Uh, when you fought Hitman in your backyard days and y'all fought in the trailer, was that planned to like go into the trailer and fighting?
Yeah, we had multiple matches where it would go to that trailer because inside that trailer is actually where I first did my first shanking at, and like I don't know in my videos, but J Bank, whenever he seen it, he was just like, like he didn't know what to take, he didn't know what to
At
think about it.
first, I thought that the trailer was a bandit. And then I guess you all got like the bathroom or whatever, and there was somebody in the bathroom, and I'm like, wait, what? What the hell's
Yeah,
going on?
yeah, that was Adam. Like my Thumbtack Jack character for the longest time was a comedy character, and there was actually when he was the 24/7 champion, he was actually sleeping in the bathtub when I think Sloppy J pinned him for the championship. So yeah, we've had a history of some stupid backyard skits.
Is the a 1 hour Iron Man match with Randy the longest one you've ever done?
No, the see it that the it was supposed to have been a 1 hour Iron Man match with Randy, but we messed up time and it ended up being 50 minutes. But me and AD Daniels, which was Aaron Daniels, who worked for the last time I checked, the University of Alabama, uh, me and him actually did a 1 hour Iron Man match in the backyard as my masked character as Vega, which, a lot of people, I've never really talked too much about my mask characters in pro wrestling, but I was a mask character called Vega. And, that was one of the characters that I took from my backyard days.
How was it being thrown onto the porcupine quills? I mean, like, little sicko done it at Southern Outlaws, of course, and then he was like, "Well, it wasn't too bad. I mean, like, I could have got worse considering the infections and it's a wild animal." He was like, "But it wasn't too bad."
Yeah, they're honestly not bad. They're more bad when they come out because they more grab the skin because they got a little barb on them. But they're definitely not the worst thing that I've ever taken.
Didn't you? You went through the bed of death too, didn't you? Because I know you
Yes.
went through one.
Me and Chewy went through the bed of death because when we went through it, it actually broke the frame and we hit the concrete pretty damn hard.
How is the beds of death? I mean, besides they hurt like hell.
I mean, I would say a normal bed of death that didn't break, doesn't break, would have been a lot better. But this one, we hit the concrete pretty damn hard, and which the original plan, which I'm glad we didn't go with because, the bed did break. He was originally going to do the running DVR, or however you say that, the running off of the apron instead of just the floor. So we swapped it up because of that.
Yeah. I can't remember which one it was, but another Deep South boy I interviewed went through the bed of death. And they was like, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it could have been worse. And I'm like, them things look like they hurt.
Valhalla from the Viking Raiders, she took the deathbed.
I gotta interview it. I gotta see if I can't find it.
Yeah, that's Carnage. She took it at Carnage Cup 8.
What was your favorite match from your BWF days?
BWF. Right now, because we're reliving them every week now. I just did one of my favorite ones. It was a 2 out of 3 with RJ. I think that was one of our best ones put together. But if you just go to my YouTube page and go to the backyard playlist, John versus Randy 7 was also one of the really, really good ones. But like I said, we're only maybe 40 matches in to the BWF, and there was literally hundreds. So, and when it comes to BWA, thousands of matches. Like, we have just barely started to touch my weekly episodes of Backyard Wrestling.
Holy, I'm definitely gonna be checking that out. How does it feel? How do you feel about death matches have evolved over the years? How do you feel death matches have evolved?
They've evolved good, and what's funny is, like, people have known me for being the extreme person that does all this stupid shit. When I first started watching deathmatch wrestling, especially in America, it was CZW, and they'd be doing the weed eater spots and stuff like that, and I was so against it. I was like, that shit's stupid. It's got to hurt. It's not safe. But then 20 years later, I'm known for stabbing people and, the other stupid shit. So I really can't talk shit about that. But when I first started watching it, I was watching the Japanese wrestling with, Foley, Funk, uh, I can't even think of everybody's name over there.
Oh
But,
God,
but
Onita, Foley.
the original IWA from over there, IWA Japan, those guys killed it. It was more, I don't even know how to say it. It may be watered down compared to what you see now, but you can still go back and watch it, and it is classically done how they portrayed that every year over there.
That's true. So, how did you get the name John Rare? Considering you was like Thumbtack Jack, and then you just said your other backyard name. So, how did you get the name John Rare?
The the funny thing that now this is what's funny about this. I was a huge Donkey Kong Country fan. And the people that made Donkey Kong Country, the company was called Rare. So I just took their company name and made it my last name. And back in the day, I was like, okay, what rhymes with rare to add on to my wrestling name? So then I became the Nightmare John Rare.
That's pretty. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I never thought about that. Which Carnage Cup was you in? Was your favorite?
You know, I still say Carnage Cup 10 was my favorite. I know I won it, but like me and Colt 45's match was awesome. You know, we were supposed to have a rematch in the future that we never got to do. And me and Chewy's match was awesome. What a lot of people don't know is Smart Mark took out some of that match. So if you didn't get to see it live, you don't know some of the pieces that are missing from that match. And me and Chewy really we never got a clear reason why they took some of that match out. But you know, I've said it in my on my video before where, you know, I started wrestling Chewy kind of light and I regretted it. But once I warmed up to his style, you know, I started getting stiff with him. But you know, the main event. By the time the main event rolled around, I was so drunk and wasted. Like, uh, I was just fucked up at that point.
Like when I seen that on your channel when you when they marked that out or cut that out or edited it out or whatever, half the match you was pissed. Which who can
Yeah,
blame you? You know, you put your life on the line for our entertainment for this match, and then these wing nuts, stupid idiots went and cut it out. I'm like, how you gonna do that to a wrestler? That's just messed up. And plus, them being professional recorders, they have no right clipping that out.
I know, and we never understood why. And like the basically the last piece that we got was the people from Smart Mark. You know, not the cameraman, obviously, but the people at Smart Mark had to do something, and they just clipped pieces away. And I was like, don't make fucking sense. But you know, we still got the 10 years of Carnage DVD, which was amazing. Uh, I was advertising the 10 years beyond. I'm still going to do that. That's coming later this year, and it's going to be on my channel exclusively.
I'm gonna watch that. Um, what was it like wrestling in the cold and ice and snow and all that stuff?
You know, up north, it didn't seem like it was as bad. It's a different kind of cold with the humidity and all that. Like when we were up north, we would be wrestling in damn feet of snow. We'd have our jumpsuit on, and really wouldn't be cold. But down here, you know, I could put my same jumpsuit on, and I'm freezing down here. I guess for one, it's the humidity difference in the air, and maybe age. But up there, it didn't bother us at all.
That's all my questions, and I'll definitely have to pay for a part 2 interview with you because this interview is probably one of my favorites that I've ever done. So I thank you for your time, Mr. John.
Oh yeah, everyone remember the YouTube channel is John Rare, JOHNRARE. Don't worry about Brian's channel. Nobody visits it anyway.
Please go sub to this man. I mean, you want some in-depth backyard stuff that's like, where did John Rare become so intense and crazy? You're talking hours. Like, you ain't gonna be able to watch all his shows in a month. I'm sorry. You're going to
No,
take at least a year, and you need to sit down. And some matches are silent, and then some matches he goes through by himself, and then some matches him and Miss Shady J they review together, and every match is well worth watching. I mean, you know, some matches are like 20 minutes long, some's 10, but if you want some intense stuff that really shows where John Rare started and where he come from, like, you know, I guess you would sort of say like the bottom of the food chain and worked his way up to the top of it, go check it out. I've watched so much, and there's plenty I still need to watch. And
and
I've enjoyed.
like I said, there is still so much footage of mine that is locked away that ain't even uploaded yet. Like I've got uploaded stuff that I don't plan on releasing, anytime in the near future, talking about years. But I still got footage that I don't even have uploaded yet.
He's got like 20 years worth of content just stashed away.
Yeah.
So go sub to the channel. Make sure you turn on that notification bell to where it's like got the parentheses around it, so it says all. So whenever he uploads a short or he does like a post or he does a video, you instantly get everything that hits that channel, and do it to the second channel too. Because this man puts Lord knows how much time and dedication, even though he's not a worker anymore, he's still entertaining us. He puts all his time, dedication when he's not with his family. He edits everything. He does a lot for his channel and for us. So, you can't afford to buy something off of him. Go support him that way. It will help him more than you will ever know. Hey, everybody, how's it going? But John was I'd like to get another match out of him, but he's done said, he ain't going to come out of retirement this time. His back won't let him. His body won't let him. He's, you want some good shit. I just can't get off of what this man has done for us.
Yeah, trust me. I still, like, when I go to these local shows, like in Georgia, we still go down to LaGrange. And, like, when I go in there, the guys will be like, the legends here. And I'm just like, shut up. I hate when people say anything like that. I really do.
Yes, he is the GOAT. Greatest of all time. I don't know, like, when a worker that's been in the business for a while, and like you, and a lot of y'all older time workers get offended by being called legends. And I'm like, I'm going to still classify you as a legend. Look at what you've done. And I respect the workers. So, like, it gets on your nerves, but I just can't help it. I enjoy, speaking my mind, and enjoy everything that you've done for us and everything that you keep doing.
Yeah, like, a little side story about Brian. I told him the first time we met, he had to bring me what do you call those? Gummy worms. That was his intro. And he's still doing it. He won't quit bringing me gummy worms. I'm like, Brian, you got to quit bringing me gummy worms, man. Like, he's bringing me bags at a show. I'm like, save these for yourself, or just don't spend the money. Like, he keeps bringing me bags of them. I still got a whole damn bag from the last damn show that he's got me. I can't eat this many gummy worms. Chill out, Brian.
Jesus. Brian always has a good word for you. He's like, that's my mentor, that's my trainer, that's my wrestling father. I'm like, John is just so down to earth. And, wait, Brian's like, you ever seen John get mad? And I'm like, in the ring? Oh, yeah, I've seen him get pretty heated. And he's like, you've never met him in person? I'm like, no, I've never really actually been to a live show. He's like, oh, yeah, just don't piss John off in person. I'm like, I'm not going to piss him off in general.
Hey, I've never been one to, like, stray from a real fight. I'll tell you that. Like, there was a guy named Larry Paul who worked with me at a company. And side story is that he was a lineman for the Tennessee Titans. So I'm a little guy. This is a big old guy. I got in his face about something and we were arguing. And I'm talking about when I'm in his face, I'm looking up at him and I'm talking about how to beat his ass. But we didn't fight.
Before you got rid of your socials, you was going off on somebody at work. I can't remember how it was. He was like, I'm tired of this. I'm going to confront him. And then Miss Shady J's like, I know, honey, calm down. And then she quoted a Bible quote. I'm like, John, calm down. If you need something, I'm here. I can talk to you. And you're just like, you were flipping out. I'm like, uh-oh, they're going to piss John right off.
And that's another reason I got off of social media is I just can't deal with people. Like, I'm a 1-year-old person with back issues and a damn bum ass arm now. and I'm out working all these damn young kids that can barely damn move in general.
That's the problem. I'm 24 and I don't mind the work, but you get these young kids who wants everything handed to them. I'm like, if you want something, you
Kids,
gotta earn it.
kids
Yeah,
can't do anything right nowadays. The kids are stupid. Like oh my lord, yeah, don't get me started. This generation is stupid. One just tried to assassinate the damn former president. He couldn't even do that right. I mean, what a fucking idiot. Now look at him. His head's blown off.
he got himself murdered. I mean, like, what? Where do y'all?
And he was Republican. He was Republican.
How you want to shoot your own president, more or less? That's sad.
And I'm a Trump supporter, people. I don't care what you think.
Exactly. I support Trump all day, every day. Like, I'm not really big on politics. I didn't like Obama. I didn't like Bush. I'm not too big on Clinton. But, like, I support Trump. I support, like, JFK and shit. But my generation, I don't even, I know I'm like that Gen Z, whatever these generation is, because I know I'm not alpha. But I feel like I'm more like one of the 96 babies, like Gen whatever, millennials, whatever. I don't even feel like I belong in this generation. Like, the only thing that I really use from my generation's technology. We had teenagers eating Tide Pods and snorting condoms.
Yeah,
when
I
that
know. I don't know what the
when that first came
this
out,
this this whole world went to shit.
I was with and my dad was laughing. I was like, "What's so funny?" He was like, "Well, you're from this generation. Do you eat Tide Pods?" I was like, "What? No, they're for laundry." And he was like, "Well, have you ever snorted a condom?" I'm like, "How do you snort condoms?" That generation has to be the most embarrassing. Like, and it's not the things that these younger kids, can come up with is just out of this world.
Yeah, they're jet.
Exactly. And then they make, and then you get like a lot of these young kids that want to go around and be like, "Well, hi there, how's your day?" And I'm like, "You forgot to put sir in front of that?"
Yeah, literally on a pizza box now it says "Do not eat the box." That's the generation that we live in now.
Because I was raised yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Hold your door for your elders, and that's why like some people get offended by me calling them like sir, and they're like, "I'm not no sir, that's my daddy." I'm like, "You're my older, so I'm going to call you sir, and it's going to piss you off, but it's a habit." Like I did that with
Definitely.
like sir, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not no sir, that's my daddy. My daddy ain't here." I'm like, "I'm sorry." I just have that, southern thing, respect mama, all that southern. I'm from Kentucky. I live in Kentucky. I'm a southern boy. I respect my elders, and if I don't respect my elders, my grandmother would come back from the dead and beat my head in.
Yeah. And see the off subject. Well, yeah, it's still on subject. Talking about my backyard stuff. You also get to see a lot of my family members get involved too. Like my crazy aunt who passed away a few months ago. We're getting into the part now where she keeps getting involved. So like even in my backyard days, I always had like family try to get involved in it as well.
There was one interview that I watched, and I can't remember his name. It was one of your backyard buddies, and he was a really big guy, like kind of tall, kind of like, I guess you would say, muscle bound. He went professional, but he didn't stay. And he was a white gentleman, and I can't remember his name, but it was like, it's a really old video, and I guess y'all was sitting in like the living room, and he was like, I can't remember his name. Oh my god!
Was it
And
Talon?
I think so, because he was like a big, you could tell he was tall, and he was like, I don't want to say fat, but like his chest was like out to here. He was a big man, and y'all two started talking about y'all's backyard days, and then y'all mentioned how some of y'all went, like deep south, and then some of y'all went to bigger promotions, something like WWE, and then how some of y'all went and didn't like it, so y'all come back to the backyard. And I'm like, that's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if you know his name off the hand, but Hotshot Corey Hollis, he was in NXT. He did ROH, and I want to say he even did one of them like pre matches in AEW. If I'm right, he was a backyard in my backyard.
I don't know his name right offhand. I'm gonna have to see a picture of him, but see, like a lot of that's what messes me up, and that's why. Well, you had the chance to go, go and be famous or whatever, and I'm like, being mainstream ain't what everybody thinks it is. Like, it's no different. Like, they got many more rules than they do on the indie circuit. And
Yes.
if you attempt to, like, mess up one time, you're done for. Everything, you have to always be on your toes, and everything has to be perfect. Like, if you was to do a match wrong and mess it up, then depending on the promoter, you're done with that promotion. That's stupid.
Yeah, like
Like,
yeah, pros are they're so machined is what they are. And if you mess up any little part of it, yeah, your career could be done or you're getting sent back to the minors again.
and that's nonsense. Like, we're all humans, so you gotta, like, give them a chance. And
But like right now, I am a huge WWE fan, and like I have never been so pumped for what product WWE is pushing out than I am now. And it's mainly because of a few people, but I love Walter to death. Walter is amazing. He has brought something back to wrestling on TV that you haven't seen in a long ass time, like literally since Brock Lesnar or the ones before him. Then you got Braun Breaker, who's doing almost the same exact thing. You've got that physical body out there that's intimidating, that you think that he's just going to kill his opponent. And then Jacob Fatu. You got these three guys right now, to me, that are the absolute future of WWE time.
I ain't watched WWE in so long. Like, sit down and actually watch the whole card. I've watched at it, but with me being a 99 baby, a lot of my wrestlers from there's retired or getting ready to retire. Undertaker, I like Stone Cold, John Cena. A lot of people don't like Cena. Cena's done, it's not too far around the corner. Randy Orton. And, one thing I don't get is a lot of these guys get released. And then where do they go after they're released from WWE? Straight over to AEW. I don't understand that. Or they go to
Yeah,
TNA.
I've tried. I really have. I've tried to get into AEW, and you would think that I would like it because it's more of a hardcore style promotion. But I don't know. I don't know. Every time I've watched it, I've just kind of it's. And for the longest time, it was Tony Khan. Tony Khan kept putting his foot in his mouth every week, and it's like, hey, fuck you, dude. But I don't know. I've tried to get into it, and I don't know. Maybe it's just not my thing anymore. But
Oh,
WWE, I feel like watching WWE.
when you have Facebook, like you was always going on about AEW, and I put a lot of rapid reactions because, from my point of view, it seemed like you cannot stand AEW. And
It was. I mean, it was the thing. Like I would. It seemed like when someone would finally talk me into giving it another try, I would give it a try, and I would barely make it through a show or something, or maybe two shows. But then Tony Khan would do something stupid again, and I'm like, "Fuck AEW! I'm not watching it ever again." And that's basically where I'm at again because I haven't watched it again for probably a month or more.
I mean, yeah, I could. I'm one of the ones that actually thought that you would get into AEW. but I can't say much. I more watch indie wrestling than like AEW, New Japan, WWE. I'm more of a deathmatch person, so I don't really watch technical wrestling anymore, and
We
I
were
haven't.
talking about my Vega character. This is actually his mask.
I've seen that. I
I've kept
think I've seen that mask on your channel.
I've kept that thing. I've kept that thing from 2006. I just now actually just paid attention and seen it.
I've seen that mask before. I want to say. Have you ever put that on your channel?
Yes, my match with Action Mike Jackson. I wear that mask.
Yes, I like Action Mike Jackson for his age. That man will
The
work
dude
too.
can go. Yeah, that dude can work. Well, I have my notification that my next appointment is coming up.
I thank you for your time, Mr. John.
And if let me know when this is ready to share and everything. Cool, sir.
All right, since it's live, right after I end it, it should be shareable.
Oh, cool, cool. See, I don't know this shit. I'm old school. I'm old.
Yeah, you,
I'm just fucking old.
if you, depending on how you do it from like your phone or your computer, if you want to ever go live on YouTube on your phone, there should be like a little plus and right there in the middle, and you just click go live, and you can go live right there on your John Rare channel.
Oh, and it records it and everything for you.
You just can't
Hell
edit
yeah.
it. It works.
Ah, I got you. That's cool though.
Want to be like in your man cave and bring on Miss Shady J, you would send her the there's a thing that says invite guest, and up to one person can be in the box, so you can invite her for a live, YouTube show.
Hell yeah. I would do one with Brian, but I know his first question would be why.
Yes, definitely. If you need help with anything, just let me know. I'm only a message away, sir.
Alrighty, cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John.
See you later. Bye.